This is a special HBM Cryptid-Corner. I felt I had to do this tonight because we've already had Steve Coles and Chris Bennett give a tribute show to the subject of this video. And I'm not sure that my video will do that one justice, but I'll give it socks, as they say in Ireland. I'll give it my best. Unfortunately, we have a passing to report from the Sasquatch community, and it's a big one. Dr. Jeff Meldrum has passed away from brain cancer. And I had no idea he had brain cancer. He didn't seem to be affected by it when I was with him at the Ohio Bigfoot Conference this year. Very sad, very, very unfortunate. This is an article about Dr. Meldrum and his passing.
New Volkswagens have arrived on the lot at Teton Volkswagen. From Jettas to Tiguans and Atlases, we've got the lineup. A big selection, ready to test drive. Come see what's new today at Teton Volkswagen, where it's always no problem to buy and service your vehicle.
ISU anthropologist, Bigfoot researcher dies of brain cancer. Pocatello, a local professor who drew worldwide attention through his research on a creature of legend, has died. The family of Don Jeffrey Meldrum, who held a Ph.D. in anatomical sciences and was a professor of anatomy and anthropology at Idaho State University, announced his passing in a post on his professional Facebook page on Thursday. Meldrum spoke about his research on Sasquatch, a cryptid commonly referred to as Bigfoot, in many professional and popular publications, and was interviewed by media outlets including EastIdahoNews.com in 2019. It is with profound sadness that the Meldrum family shares that Dr. Meldrum has passed following a battle with brain cancer. The illness was brief, and he passed with his family at his side, reads the post, written by his wife, Lauren Stewart. Meldrum taught at ISU as a full-time professor since 1993, teaching human anatomy in the graduate health professions programs, according to his biography on ISU's website. The biography summarizes his research as encompassing questions of vertebrate evolutionary morphology generally, primate locomotor adaptations more particularly, and especially the emergence of modern human bipedalism. Meldrum co-edited From Biped to Strider, The Emergence of Modern Human Walking, Running, and Resource Transport in 2004 with Charles E. Hilton, which proposes a more recent innovation of modern striding gait than previously assumed, reads his biography. My day-to-day research is primarily focused on the evolution of human bipedalism, Meldrum told EastIdahoNews.com in 2019. But I have an interest in the possible existence of Sasquatch and have made a study of the footprint evidence to that end. In 1996, Meldrum's fascination with Bigfoot began when he examined a set of 15-inch footprints in Washington state. Now his lab houses well over 300 footprint casts attributed to this mystery primate, the biography reads. His family's post acknowledged his research into the legendary creature, but said they knew him for a different reason. He loved teaching and researching Bigfoot. But he was a husband and father first. I am so grateful to have shared the last 17 years of my life with him, Stewart says. Stewart's post ends by saying, he was a force of nature. Please respect our privacy in our time of grief.
So, there you go. I mean, it's a sad thing. It's just it's a tragic thing. This has been a pretty sad, for me, almost month, nearly a month, almost 3 weeks actually. My brother-in-law passed away a few weeks ago. And then there was the unfortunate killing of Charlie Kirk. And by the way, doesn't matter what you thought of him politically, he did not deserve what happened to him. He was a husband and a father. And I would hope that there would be people decent enough not to celebrate his passing. Unfortunately, we have seen that. It's it's absolutely devastating. And then, of course, now Dr. Meldrum. I first met Dr. Meldrum in 2008 at the annual Bigfoot Conference, not the Ohio Bigfoot Conference. It was not called that in 2008 when Don Keating was running it. It was called the annual Bigfoot Conference. And it was a fun event. It was my first Bigfoot conference ever. And to have Dr. Meldrum as a speaker at that event was pretty big. To me it was, anyway. It was huge. It was absolutely huge. And it was terrific to have Dr. Meldrum there, as well as Eric Altman, and to meet different Bigfooters at that event. And then at that conference, Dr. Meldrum was talking about, and his presentation was about his recent trip to China to look into the Yeren, the Chinese Yeren, or the Chinese wild man. And it was a really interesting presentation. And one thing that Dr. Meldrum was always interested in and fascinated by was the fact that you had a footprint cast which was taken in China of what appeared to be a footprint with the midfoot flexibility, which was almost an exact match for a footprint cast taken by the late Bob Titmus at the site of the Patterson-Gimlin film 9 days after the film was shot on October 29th, 1967. It had the midfoot flexibility, the same as the cast and the footprint. It was taken in China. So that was an interesting discovery that Dr. Meldrum made and reported on. And then a couple of years later at Don's conference, Jeff Meldrum spoke again, and he spoke about the Nui Rung, or the Vietnamese Bigfoot, the rock ape, as the soldiers called them. And that was a fascinating presentation all on its own as well. Yeah, I met Dr. Meldrum over the years. I've heard him give different presentations at different events. And the most recent was this year at the Ohio Bigfoot Conference. And he did not seem to give any indications that anything was wrong with him at this past year's OBC. But I think that just speaks to his nature. He was a very private individual. If he had any pain or any sort of effects of anything that was going on with him and happening to him, he didn't show it, which I found to be interesting. But I'm glad I got to know Dr. Meldrum and got to see him several times through the years. One memory I have is sitting with him and others at a table outside at the first Yakima Bigfoot Roundup in 2009. And that was interesting. And then posing for a photo with him at that event. I regret I only posed with him 3 times for 3 different photos. But I figured, well, sometime down the line I'll pose for another photo with him And there'll be enough time to do it. Unfortunately, there's just not enough time anymore, it seems like. You know, the man was only 67 years old when he passed. It's a big loss to the Bigfoot community for sure. It's a big loss to his family. And I just ask for prayers to be said for his family tonight. I know a lot of Bigfooters have said prayers. And I appreciate those prayers as well. I know the family appreciates them. But Dr. Meldrum was a giant in this field, and he will be sorely missed. I'm not sure if he ever finished the book that he was working on, Sasquatch Legend Meets Science 2. Would love to see that, the writings emerge from that. Maybe the notes will be found, and someone will be able to compile the book. The book that Dr. Meldrum never got to finish, unfortunately. Or maybe he did, I don't know. But Godspeed, Dr. Meldrum. And I think now he knows the answer. He's got the answers to the mysteries that we're all enthralled by. R.I.P. Dr. Meldrum. And thank you.